Will the Maui County Council public hearing of May 13th, 2025, please come to order? It is 11:01. Roll call.
Good morning, Chair. Proceeding with roll call. Members participating from remote locations should state who, if anyone, except minors, are present with them. Councilmember Pro Tempore Tasha Kama.
Excused.
Vice Chair Yukile Sugimura.
Good morning.
Councilmember Tamara Paulton.
Aloha, Avakia Kaku. I'm streaming live and direct from Kuihilani en route to the council building. There was some road work, or not road work, but there was a traffic snarl on the route into the office, or I would have been there. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, no problem.
Councilmember Gabe Johnson.
Aloha, Chair, council members, community members. There's no testifiers at the Lanai District Office, and I'm alone on my side of the office. Thank you, Chair.
Councilmember Keani Rollins Fernandez.
Okay, yeah.
Aloha, Avakiana, Kako, my Molokai Nui Ahina. I am still at my private residence, still alone, and there are no testifiers at the Molokai District Office. Mahalo, Chair.
Thank you.
Councilmember Tom Cook.
Excused.
Councilmember Nohelani U'uhajens.
Aloha, everyone.
Councilmember Shane Sinensi.
Aloha, I'm here at my home office by myself, and there are no testifiers in panel.
Chair Alice Lee.
Morning again.
Chair, you have 7 members present, 2 excused, which means that you do have a quorum to conduct the business of the council. For the record, I am the county clerk, Moana Ludi, and present from the legislative staff from my office are Lauren Saldana, Del Yoshida, and Chris Minford. Present from the Office of Council Services are Director David Rotz and Deputy Director Rochelle Kawasaki. And from the Department of the Corporation Council, we're joined by Deputy Corporation Counsel Christina Toshikio.
Thank you. On April 22nd, 2025, the council convened the public hearing on the proposed real property tax rates for the County of Maui, effective July 1, 2025. So this is why I'm reconvening the public hearing with the intent of fixing the real property tax rates for fiscal year 2026. Okay? So, again, before we proceed with the public hearing, may I please request that everyone keep their microphones muted unless it's your turn to speak. As a reminder, testimony must pertain to items on the agenda. When testifying, please direct your remarks to the council and not to any individual council member or member of the public. Each testifier will be allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes. For individuals wishing to testify on Teams, please click the raise your hand button to be added to the testifier log. If you are calling in, please follow the phone prompts to be added to the log. Decorum shall be maintained at all times. Any person who behaves in a manner that disrupts, disturbs, or impedes the orderly conduct of any council meeting can, at the discretion of the presiding officer or a majority of present council members, be ejected or banned from council meetings, or, if participating remotely, muted or dropped from the meeting. Examples of disruptive behavior include, but are not limited to, heckling, shouting, use of profanity, threatening, or slanderous remarks made to any member of the council, staff, or general public. Let the record show, Member Tom Cook is here.
Aloha and good afternoon, Chair.
Aloha. Ms. Clerk, please proceed.
Chair, the first testifier is Faye Taylor, and she will be followed by John Pele.
Speak right into the mic. Say your name.
Oh, right here, okay.
And push it down closer to you. Yeah, good, very good. Your name?
My name is Faye Taylor, and I'm here today because I would like you to know how the short-term rental property tax rates impact taxpayers and voters like me. When I retired 10 years ago, at age 69, I decided to move to Maui. I purchased a condo in a complex that allowed short-term rentals because my plan was to rent out my condo in the high season so that I could afford to live in Maui the rest of the year. My plan worked for a while. It's not working anymore because the Maui property rates have become fundamentally unfair. Last year, my neighbor, who is much more affluent than me and who has never had to rent out his unit, he paid less than $2,500 on his 3-bedroom condo that's adjacent to my 1-bedroom condo, and I paid over 16. Next year, based on the proposed rates, I'm going to be paying 8 times more than my neighbor. Why am I being required to pay so much more than my neighbor? I'm not an investor. I'm a homeowner, and I should be paying the same rates as other homeowners. If I were an investor, I wouldn't be occupying my condo for more than 14 days, because under the tax laws, you lose most of the benefits that flow to owners of rental property if you occupy your residence or the condo for more than 14 days. 9 years ago, the distribution of the property tax burden was arguably much fairer than it is today. Short-term rentals were taxed at the same rates as hotels and resorts. I paid $4,000 in property taxes 9 years ago. This year, I will be paying 5 times more. Are hotels and resorts also going to be paying 5 times more than they did 9 years ago? If not, something has gone terribly wrong and needs to be corrected. Please look at the rates 9 years ago and compare them with the proposed rates. And ask yourselves, what did we get right and what did we get wrong? Should we be punishing all owners of short-term rentals? Are hotels and resorts paying their fair share? Should exemptions in property tax rates be based on whether you occupy your home for 270 days? Or should tax exemptions and or low rates be reserved to seniors, the disabled, and low-income individuals,
Can you conclude your testimony?
as most states? Mahalo.
Oh, very good, thank you. Members, are there any questions? We have one question from Member Johnson. So you
I have
could-
one, Chair.
Okay, so he's not there. He's on TV. You look at the monitor? Okay, there you go. See him waving? Go ahead, Member Johnson.
Hi there. Thank you for your testimony. Where do you live when you rent out the place?
Oh, I stayed with my family and friends in Oregon.
So how long do you live in Maui County?
Most of the year. Most of the year I'm here.
6 months, 9 months?
Well, it varies.
It varies?
Depends on what my health is. I mean, I've had a double mastectomy, and the year when I was discovered with breast cancer, I spent a lot more time in Oregon with my doctors. I had to have 3 different surgeries.
Sure.
And so it varies. I can't tell you exactly how many days that I was in Maui versus in Oregon, where my 2 daughters live.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. Thank you, Chair. No further questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we have another question from Member Cook.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your testimony. My clarifying question, so besides property tax, you also pay the transient vacation tax?
Oh, absolutely. And I read an article this morning about how people are listed on Vrbo and Airbnb, and they're not actually paying it. I couldn't list my property. I mean, I'm required to show my tax number and my identification, and I have to pay monthly. But regardless whether I rented it out or not, I have to file that return. I mean, it's sort of like having your period that I don't have anymore.
Yeah.
But every month, that's what I have to do, yeah.
So, in my final clarifying aspect of that, approximately how much a year, and I know it would vary, do you pay in transient vacation tax? Just ballpark.
Oh, I don't know. It's thousands of dollars. It really is a lot.
Okay. Thank you very much for your testimony, and
Right,
thank you
thank
for
you.
coming today.
Thank you. Any more questions? I see none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next testifier.
Chair, the next testifier is John Pele, and he will be followed by Amy Ramos.
Morning, Chair, council members. John Pele, the Executive Director from Maui Hotel and Lodging Association. And I'll just reflect on my April 22nd testimony, which we would support Mayor Bisson's proposed 2026 tax rates at a flat rate, as it was showing. And I did actually provide written testimony on the material that was presented today, and I'll just stand on that written testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions? I see none. Thank you.
Have a great day, guys.
Thank you. Next.
Chair, the next testifier is Amy Ramos, to be followed by Jonathan Helton.
Could you bring your mic down, please?
Hello, good
Could you
morning.
bring the mic further down? Yeah, okay, good.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, Council Chairman and County Council members. My name is Amy Ramos. I'm testifying on behalf of myself, and I do own a permanent legal vacation rental in North Kihei called Kihei Oasis Vacation Rental that has been in operation since June 2013. This is my son, Pierce. I brought him out of school today so he could actually see what happens here in the county council. His classroom is watching today. So I have a few folks at the school that also own vacation rentals and B&Bs as well. So, sorry, one second. So I'm here today to testify about the short-term rental rate for the year 2025. I watched the budget and real tax assessment readings, and I was saddened to see such high rates over the mayor's existing rates being proposed. I was glad to see that the rates were set at the mayor's existing tiers, with a rate of only tier 3 being raised. But I still wanted to come here and testify because I want to show you how the rates affect me personally. Being a permanent legal vacation rental, my house is 1,485 square feet in Kihei, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's the only structure on the property, so we can't live there as a B&B. I can rent to only 6 guests, 2 per bedroom. My permit does not transfer if I sell the house. I can't allow folks to have any kind of gathering or parties or anything like that. I manage, I check folks in, I take care of the swimming pool twice a week. I also service another 8 accounts on the side, another thing I do. And I'm very hands-on. No complaints from my neighbors in 13 years. I'm one of the 20% of the local residents that own and operate a short-term rental here on the island. So in 2023, my tax was $16,757. 2024, it went up to $21,261. This year, it's, with the new rates, that's still proposed right now, it's $28,147. 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. That's another $6,886, which is my son's tuition at Emmanuel Lutheran. One of them. I have 2 that go there. While I'm not opposed to paying tax,
3 minutes.
I guess I just wanted to say that, in all fairness, things need to be a little bit fair. I was just thinking maybe it would be nice if you could take the house. My house is, according to the county, is worth like $410,000. The land is worth 1.6. I can't rent the land. So the bulk of my tax is the land. Just food for thought. I also just wanted to add one last thing. My occupancy is about 40%. We are in a recession. People are not coming here like they were. I have a unicorn as far as vacation rentals. It's a very special place. If you take the time and Google it, Kihei Oasis Vacation Rental, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to thank you for listening. Appreciate all the hard work you did.
Thank you very much. Members, we have a question from Member Johnson. If you look at the monitor right in front of you.
Hi, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you for your
there.
testimony.
Hi, Mr. Johnson.
Hi, thank you for your testimony. So with these new rates, do you plan to sell or will you continue to operate?
I am going to try and operate because I'm committed with this tax rate for this year. If it doesn't go well for the following year, there's a good chance I'll have to probably sell the house.
Okay. Thanks for that clarification. Thank you, Chair.
Any more questions? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yep. And let the record show that Member Paulton is here in the chambers. Next
Chair,
testifier,
the next testifier is Jonathan Helton, and he will be followed by Royal House of Hawaii.
online? Online. Okay.
Jonathan Helton, this is your opportunity to testify.
I don't see him. Oh, he is, okay.
His hand is raised.
You have to unmute. Of course, I don't see him on my screen.
Chair, do you want to go back to him?
Yeah, maybe move on to the next one and we'll go back to that one.
Mr. Helton will come back to you. The next testifier is Royal House of Hawaii.
You guys can hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Aloha, I'm testifying about the real property taxes. I'm pretty sure it's the actually royal patent, but in manipulated words, real property. And the royal patents are allodial titles, land allodial titles that were from the Mahele, from Kamehameha III, which his laws are still intact and still in use today. And I'm just wondering who's the real ones really getting affected? Is it the Kanaka that were on those royal patents and got illegally evicted by gunpoint, either left their valley or because they water was took and nothing was could be done without the water. And I'm wondering if you guys caught up any of those descendants, as you should by law, if there was anything that was being passed or done. And what about the crown lands of over here, Maui, Waiahuli, Keokea, the bottom part of that area? What about those places? Are those people, are we exempt from like any pay because that's by law from Kamehameha 3, my papa, and yeah. I just wondering if you guys do diligence to call any of the descendants heirs or assigns, and yeah. And if I can get a response, if the Royal House of Hawaii can get a response from you guys from my past testimonies. Yeah, they're trying to build on my grandma's cave right now. And yeah, they haven't, even for Heva Heva, they haven't called any of us beneficiaries, and they built a whole entire hotel. And for the crown lands at the bottom of the hill, it says it's all Hawaiian Homestead, but it's not Hawaiian Homestead. I'm looking around, I don't know. But yeah, please call up the beneficiaries and all the descendants again. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, members?
And if you guys called question, and if you guys called any of the descendants or the beneficiaries of the royal patents.
Okay, thank you. No questions.
Chair, we'll circle back to Jonathan Helton. Mr. Helton, this is your opportunity to testify, and he will be followed by David Jorgensen, who is currently our last testifier. Jonathan Helton. Chair, would you like to move on to Mr. Jorgensen?
Yes.
Dave Jorgensen, this is your opportunity to testify, and Mr. Helton will circle back to you. Dave Jorgensen.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I apologize. I thought I would be automatically unmuted. I'm trying to turn my camera on, but it's not working. So I apologize. I'll proceed if that's okay.
That's fine.
Hello, Chair Lee, Vice Chair Sugimura, and members of the County Council. My name is Dave Jorgensen, and I'm here on behalf of ARDA Hawaii, which represents the timeshare industry in our state. I'm a registered lobbyist. Thank you for the opportunity to offer testimony on the proposed property tax rate. Written testimony was previously, I'll be brief. ARDA Hawaii respectfully opposes the proposed $2 increase for timeshares, which already carry the highest rate in Maui County at $14.60 per $1,000. This is especially impactful as the legislature just recently passed an increase to the transient accommodations tax as well, which will also affect timeshare owners. Our industry understands the county's financial needs, especially in light of recent challenges originating from the wildfire. At the same time, we hope consideration can be given to the broader economic impacts of this proposal. The timeshare industry significantly contributes to Maui's economy with 34 timeshare projects accounting for more than 9,500 jobs for Maui residents and a substantial amount of tax revenue. This increase, while maybe well-intended, would be significant for timeshare owners, many of whom are longtime reliable visitors with a deep connection to Maui. Timeshare owners tend to return year after year, contributing consistently to the local economy. A substantial increase in ownership costs could affect their ability or decision to do so, potentially impacting small businesses and workers who rely on that activity. Excuse me. Furthermore, the proposed $2 increase is significantly higher than for other categories, raising concerns about fairness, how the burden is being shared, and the seemingly arbitrary manner in which the increase was made. The industry contributed over $2 million to wildfire recovery and provided more than 25,000 room nights of temporary housing for displaced wildfire victims, industry team members, their families, and first responders immediately after the wildfire. These actions reflect a deep commitment to the community. We urge the council to consider all this. The tax hike threatens to drive away consistent visitor spending and jeopardize local jobs at a time when Maui needs stability and economic growth more than ever. The timeshare industry remains committed to being a supportive and engaged partner in Maui's recovery and growth. We're very grateful for your leadership and the opportunity to be part of this conversation. Thank you for your time and considering the broader impact on Maui's families and workforce.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Member Paulton.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen, for your testimony. I was wondering if you could clarify, I didn't been tracking the legislature's increase that you spoke of. What was that about?
The transit accommodations tax was adopted by the legislature.
How much was it?
I don't have the exact number in front of me right now,
Oh, okay.
but I can certainly get that to you.
Oh, I can probably search it up. Thank you.
Any more questions, members? Okay, you don't see any hands, right? Okay, thank you. May we have the next testifier?
Chair, the last testifier is Jonathan Helton. Mr. Helton, this is your opportunity, and you just need to unmute on your end.
Okay, let's come back to him. Oh, okay, he unmuted. Mr.
Sorry,
Helton.
hopefully you all can hear me. I appear to be having issues with my camera and audio. I apologize about that.
We can hear you.
But okay, so I'll begin my testimony. So my name is Jonathan Helton. I represent the Grassroot Institute of Hawaii. Full disclosure, I am a registered lobbyist with Grassroot. I just wanted to offer a couple of comments on the property tax rate increases that have been proposed. First, Grassroot believes that the rates that were proposed by the mayor's budget were probably going to be a little bit better for the county of Maui. You look at reports that UHERO has come out with recently, projecting that what with all of the economic uncertainty being created at the national level, Hawaii is very likely headed toward a mild recession. And, they project at UHERO that there are going to be fewer visitors coming to the state. And because the state's economy is so dependent on tourism revenues, any sort of recession where fewer people come visit can have negative effects on small businesses and local residents. And so we are concerned that adding additional costs to operating as a visitor establishment in Maui could be bad for the county's economy. And then the second thing we would encourage is that the council consider adjusting the long-term rental or owner-occupied home exemption after the budget season is over. It's been several years since those were last adjusted. And if they had kept up with the changes in assessments, they would be significantly higher. So we would be open to discussions with the council about further amendments to the real property tax code once budget season is over. And thank you for your patience as I tried to figure out my tech issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? If not, thank you. Ms. Clerk?
Chair, there are currently no other testifiers signed up. If there is anyone that would like to testify, this is your opportunity. You can raise your hand in Teams or make your way to the podium, and I see Mr. Law on his way to the podium.
Yes.
Aloha kakahiaka, aloha kako, aloha brother Chris Binford in the lobby. J.C. Law, servant of Lili Uokalani. I've been waiting for this one. This is, but this is the one I wanted to speak of, if I could take a choice of all three of them. He ali'i ka aina, he kauwa ke kanaka. The land is chief, man is a servant. I would appreciate if you, whoever's typing up these agendas, would separate the property from the land, because the property is the houses and the buildings, the improvements. The land, you can't own that. I think it's like in the Hawaii Constitution or something like that. It's different from the United States. In the many years that I've participated in public government meetings, I've learned that if you don't use your 3 minutes, you lose them forever. And as y'all know, property tax is one of my frequent topics, so I don't want to miss this one. Most of you know what I like to talk about next: the tax exemption for the churches. Churches. How much revenue have we lost over the past 100 years because of the United States religious tax exemptions? The rest of my time is saved for the Hawaiians.
Thank you. No questions? Ms. Clerk?
Chair, there is no one else currently signed up to testify. This will be last call. If there is anyone who would like to testify, please make your way to the podium or raise your hand in Teams. The countdown is 3, 2, 1. Chair, there is no one indicating a desire to testify.
Members, are there any objections to closing public testimony and accepting written testimony?
No objections.
No objections, so ordered. Ms. Clerk, Resolution 25-88. Okay.
Chair, before you is Resolution 25. I have it as 2588, adopting the real property tax rates for the County of Maui effective July 1, 2025.
Okay. Members, as I mentioned earlier, this public hearing is recessed from April 22nd. So what we have before us today is the resolution whether, and we have 3 choices essentially, to vote it up, down, or table. So, which would be my preference, but the floor is open right now for any motions. Member Paulton.
Chair, can we get some clarification so that we're making informed decisions?
Of course. We can ask David Rotz, who's here, or depending on what kind of questions, we could have Christina Toshikio answer your questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ratz, on the May 16th agenda, there's proposed changes to the RPT rates. And I was wondering how that works with public hearings. If the rates were to be changed on May 16th, would we have to post and change public hearings? And I think June 20th is the deadline. So if we could go over the logistics if that were to occur.
Dave?
Thank you, Chair Lee, and thank you, council members, for the question. So as noted on page 1 of today's agenda, the council is convened today under subsection 3.48.565B. This is the second step in a 2-meeting process under the code to adopt a resolution establishing real property tax rates for the upcoming fiscal year. Under subsection A, the first meeting was on April 22nd. So what's envisioned, as Chair Lee mentioned, is either action to adopt the resolution as it's been presented today with the particular rates and tiers, or if the body is not comfortable doing so or anticipates wanting to make changes, we would look to subsection C of Maui County Code Section 3.48.565, which would dictate that the council go back to the beginning and have a subsection A meeting and then a subsection B meeting. So that would be the outcome, Councilmember Paulton, if, for instance, there are changes to Bill 41, the operating budget for fiscal year 26, on Friday for first reading in Appendix B, which is where rates and fees are included. So as an aside, real property tax rates for the county are in two places, the resolution and in Appendix B. So again, back to your question, if Appendix B is amended on Friday, that would send us back to the beginning of this process, the subsection A meeting followed by a subsection B meeting to adopt the resolution. Thank you, Chair.
And if I could just clarify, is the subsection A and B meeting required to be 3 weeks apart, or just as long as they're noticed in media publication or something?
Thank you, Chair and Councilmember. Good question. So again, we're operating under the code section 3.48.565, and subsection A tells us that that first meeting is to announce the rates and Ts that are being considered by the council, and that meeting has to be not less than 10 days after the public notice. So that's it, the first time constraint, not less than 10 days after the public notice. And then the second meeting, the subsection B meeting, the type of meeting we're having today, has to be within 3 weeks after the subsection A meeting. So there's no minimum duration, but there's a maximum. So you'd have, probably for practical purposes, 10 days for the subsection A meeting, and then based on the Sunshine Law's requirement, at least 6 days for the subsection B meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I'm gonna check out my calendar.
Well, we anticipated this, so David, maybe you can mention, depending on what happens today, the first meeting would be, was it the 27th or 28th? Which one?
Thank you, Chair. So under one scenario that you asked staff to look at, there's a potential for a subsection A meeting, the first meeting on May 27th, then the subsection B meeting, the one where the resolution would actually be adopted, following that on June 3rd, which would have the convenience of taking place at the same meeting where the overall budget is scheduled for second and final reading. Thank you.
Chair, did you consult with the administration on the proposals that you had made, if they were in support?
All except one. The
housing?
Yeah, housing.
Okay, thank you. I'll yield to my colleagues.
Other questions, members? Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. I'm curious, Chair Lee, if you reached out to the Maui United Way as well as the other departments.
No, I didn't. I just went off of your testimony.
Okay, well, just for my 2 cents, you know, I certainly object to the cut of that, my priority from Maui United Way and the Alice folks. I also won't be here for first reading.
I'm sorry.
And I also...
We really shouldn't be discussing this. only on resolution, the resolution that was
Okay, well,
posted.
I prefer to pass it today.
You prefer to pass
Sure.
it today? Okay. That's one. Do you want to make a motion? It's up to you. Otherwise, my recommendation is going to be.
Sure.
Oh, you want to make, okay.
I move
Okay, before you do that, we have a
to pass
question.
the.
Member
Okay,
Rollins
go ahead.
Fernandez? Did you have a question?
Madam Chair, it wasn't a question. I saw other hands, so I was thinking perhaps, before we, take the motion, we can, exhaust all the questions,
Okay.
to understand, the options before us and the implications.
Okay, thank you. The only hand I saw was yours. Okay, who else had
Oh,
a
okay. I
hand?
thought I saw Member Hodgins with her hand up at the same time as Member Johnson.
Okay, Member Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Member Rollins Fernandez. I just wanted more clarification from the discussion we had with Member Paulton and Director Rotz. So, granted, perhaps we may have a motion on the floor in a few minutes, but if we table it, the plan is to have subsection A discussion public hearing again on May 27th and subsection B then on June 3rd. Is that what I heard correctly?
Mr. Rotz?
Or can you please, if I had that wrong, I'm just trying to take some notes so I can plan my life.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councilmember Hodgins. Yes, that's one possible scenario with just one technical correction.
Okay.
A public hearing would not necessarily be required. The council actually amended the relevant code provision earlier this year to change the references from public hearing to public meeting.
Public meeting,
We're actually in
okay.
a public hearing process today, but it also doubles as a public meeting, so you're satisfying both the prior version and the current version of the code. Thank you.
Okay, and then that would obviously give us the time we need to ensure that our budget is met on time. We don't mess anything up. Yes?
Thank you, Councilmember. Yes, and just to clarify, under the charter, the council's deadline to pass the budget bill, the ordinance, is June 10th. Thank you.
Okay, June 10th. Okay. Thank you, Director Rotz, and thanks, Chair. I'm happy to table this discussion if that's what we need to do today. I'm in favor of keeping property taxes for everyone as most reasonable as possible. Thank you.
Member Paulton?
Thank you, Chair. One more question, I think, for Mr. Rotz. I saw the posted, I think it's an ASF to Bill 41 or whatever it is. Can that be amended as well on Friday?
Mr. Rotz?
Thank you, Councilmember, and thank you, Councilmember Paulton. Yes, amendments to Bill 41 incorporating the posted suggested amendments or intended amendments can be considered along with additional amendments that may be brought up during deliberations. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else with a question? Member Rollins Fernandez?
Hello, Chair. Now I have a question. Okay. All right. Process questions. So, first question, when would the range of rates resol be posted? The posting deadline.
Mr. Rotz?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councilmember Rollins Fernandez. So the range of rates notice is what happened on April 22nd. That's the subsection A meeting, the first of the two required meetings. Technically, the code doesn't say range of rates. That's been the council's practice. The code says the notice has to reference the tax rates and tiers to be considered by the council. So For instance, if there's a majority vote at first reading to amend the real property tax rates and tiers in Appendix B, that would probably be what would be included in an updated resolution for the next subsection A meeting as opposed to a range of rates. And again, the code under subsection A says that that first meeting has to happen at least 10 days after the notice. So under this potential accelerated timeline is what I would call it, if that action happens on May 16th, the notice would have to be published on May 17th, which is unusual because that's a weekend. But we have, at Chair Lee's request, consulted with Office of the County Clerk, and they've advised that if that's the body's will, then it would be technically possible to do that. Thank you.
Okay, so so today's resolution, would that be then filed and not tabled?
Mr. Rotz.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councilmember. Well, whatever the majority of the council decides to do with the resolution today would be the outcome. If there's not consensus on the rates that are posted in the resolution for today's meeting, perhaps tabling would have some benefits over filing, just because if the resolution is tabled, we would still have this resolution 25-88 as the vehicle moving forward. And we've already had the public hearing that's required under the charter if 3 members happen to request a public hearing. So just playing things out, if today's resolution were filed and a new resolution were introduced for real property tax rates, that new resolution could be subject to a 3-member public hearing, which could slow down the process and perhaps take the council closer to the deadlines than the council might prefer. Thank you.
All right, so there's quite a bit of options on this choose your adventure scenario here. Okay, so we would potentially, if there's the majority, would consider tabling this, and this would stay on the clerk's desk. And then if there isn't an interest in amending it on the 16th, and therefore it wouldn't need to go through the whole process again, then we would just find another time to schedule this specific resol and then adopt it at that next public hearing?
Yes.
Well, Chair, if I may interject real quickly, I'm sorry, Councilmember. Actually, I think if the resolution today is not adopted, there would have to be a reinitiation of the 2-step process, because subsection B requires action on the resolution within 3 weeks after that subsection A notice, and today is the 3-week deadline. Thank you.
Right. Okay, well, for that clarification. Okay, so there really wouldn't be that benefit of time saving, because now we would have either so if we don't adopt the resolution today, either way, we would have to go through that 2-step process again with either this resolution or an amended resolution. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. That's correct, Councilmember.
Okay, and then on Friday, if we don't adopt the resolution today, we would be able to amend those rates, and then whatever the rates are that the majority chooses would then be posted for subsection A's resolution on the 27th, and then it would simultaneously be taken up with when we take up Bill 40, the budget bill on June 3rd.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, Councilmember, that appears to be a potential scenario.
Okay, and then last question. Is there a scenario where we wouldn't have to make our clerks work on a Saturday? Like, could we take a longer recess so that if we don't adopt the resolution today, that the resolution could be posted on Friday if we took up the budget first? I don't want to make the clerks work on Saturday.
David?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councilmember. If the body were willing to wait to adopt the real property tax resolution until after second reading, and I can understand perhaps discomfort with that option, that would widen the timeline, and the code does allow for the resolution to be adopted up through June 20th. So it's a later deadline than the charter established deadline for the budget bill itself. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Mahalo, Chair. Mahalo, Director.
Believe me, Member Rollins Fernandez, we spent hours, literally hours, trying to work out the timeline and not to inconvenience the clerk's office. It's very difficult. Member, yes, Vice Chair Sugimura first.
So maybe this is a question for Director Rotz about tabling today. We would still be able to meet the deadlines as required in that B section. 3 weeks.
David?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Vice Chair, for the question. Yes, just again, with the note that we'd have to go back to subsection A if the posted resolution is not adopted today, whether it's tabled or filed or any other action other than adoption. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
And keep in mind, I posted my ASF already, showing real property tax changes, okay? So that's already, that ship has sailed. Member Cook.
Thank you, Chair. From everything I've heard, I'm in support of tabling it today.
Member Paulton.
I just was wondering if the June 3rd second reading could be pushed back so we could do it at the same time if June 20th is the deadline.
Okay, let me take that and then you can, let me give you my opinion first. The mayor has until June 10th. And so this is one of the reasons why after this session, I would like to see a real property tax special council committee formed, because there's so many issues within the code that are conflicting and inconvenient, doesn't make sense, to have the mayor have a deadline, and then we can go beyond that mayor's deadline to the 20th to pass RPT, is very, very risky, because if anything goes wrong in that period of time, then we end up defaulting to the mayor's budget. And I don't think any of us want to do that. So, David, you can answer Member Paulton's question.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councilmember. I misspoke when I said second reading is scheduled for June 30th. That's the planned calendar, but that's not on a meeting agenda. That's nothing that is finalized. So if the body has the will and council chair dictates, the meeting dates in June could be changed. Thank you, Chair.
I just would say that I have several doctor appointments on the 27th that I already pushed back because of this budget process. And like I said before, I don't tell them when I want to go to the doctor. They tell me when I can go to the doctor. So I'm going to go to the doctor to the 2 appointments that I pushed back because of all the nonsense budget stuff.
We'll try our best to try and make it so that you can participate. But David, oh, never mind. Somebody else had questions? Gabe, Mr. Johnson.
Okay, well, I'm hearing that it sounds like the body doesn't have the mood to adopt this. You know, when U Hero came before us, one of the economists said that the way to get out of our troubles is with the tiering of taxes and actually taxing the rich. And I thought the body did a good job on that. I won't be here for first reading. I think the idea that we're going to cut one of my priorities is disheartening. When if at least I could get a call or maybe call the United Way before we do this. The testifier today that she wouldn't be able to send her child to private school, and the Maui United Way is trying to help feed kids. That's why I stand against it. So against cutting that priority that I put in and did all the research on and worked with them for. So I just want to say that you're right. This was a tough process. This is not, and if we need to take a look at it, okay. But in the meantime, our people are suffering, and I think we should just pass it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Anybody else? Did Member Sinensi leave? Oh, Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. I wanted to talk through one more scenario, and that is adopting the resolution today. And then if the ASF is, passed to incorporate the proposed amendments, or some of the proposed amendments, would that then initiate that two-step process to amend the RPT rates?
Yes, and David, you can confirm that.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, thank you, Councilmember. That's correct. And the mechanism, if this resolution were adopted and there's later a desire to change the rates, would be a new resolution that would, in effect, amend the resolution today. Thank you.
Okay, so would there be any downside to adopting the resolution today? Because the ASF's already posted on the agenda, so we would take it up then. And if we adopt it today and we don't come to some kind of consensus on the proposed amendments, then we wouldn't need to do the two-step process because we would have already established the RPT rates. But if we don't adopt it today, then no matter what, we're going to have to go through the two-step process. So is there any downside to adopting it today?
But you can answer that question, and then I might comment.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councilmember. Of course, this is a policy matter before the body, so I wouldn't want to encourage or discourage any policy choices for council members. I think each council member has to decide whether you want to vote to approve a motion to adopt this resolution if it's before you. But I think you're asking not about the policy downsides or upsides, but procedural. And on that front, we would just again note that the need for a second resolution later, a new resolution with a new number, could trigger the 3-member public hearing requirement, which could slow the body down. Thank you.
So adopting the resolution today would not preclude further action amending the RPT rates via ASF, Chair Lee's ASF posted on the agenda this Friday. I'm open to discussing that ASF and proposed amendments, but if there isn't consensus on that day, I would love to not have to do the two-step process again. So I would actually like to adopt it today and then have that discussion. And then if, we are going to amend it, then we will go through the two-step process.
Members, any more questions? Because otherwise, I'm going to encourage Member Rollins Fernandez to make a motion, even though I'm going to stay with my preference to have it tabled. Any more questions? Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. I move to adopt Resolution 25-28. Sorry, I forgot the number.
2388.
Oh,
2588.
2588.
Okay, it's been moved by Member Rollins Fernandez, seconded by Member Johnson, to adopt Resolution 2588. Any more discussion? Member Rollins Fernandez.
Mahalo, Chair. Again, as I stated, I'm not opposed to discussing, Chair Lee's proposed amendments on Friday and, potentially amending the rates. There are some items that I would not be supportive of reducing, like Member Johnson's priority proposal. And so since we have the option to be able to amend the rates not, that's posted as the ASF and not have to stick to what is posted as the ASF, so that we could accommodate funding for the priority proposal, then I could be supportive of amending the rates on Friday and then going through the two-step process. But for today, if we don't have consensus, I'd rather us all save time and have this in our back pocket. Mahalo, Chair.
That's right. If you table it, you'll have it in your back pocket. All right, any more discussion so we can take the vote? Member Paulton.
I guess for my discussion this is highly unusual. I don't remember having done this in my memory before, and I just I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings or anything, but this was a very frustrating, confusing process that lacked clear communication. It lacked clear vision and goals, and I really think that if we're gonna continue to go on past our regular timeframes, I'm not sure why this wasn't brought up when we came in on a Sunday, And if people can't do the work, I think they should step aside, because the way that we're handling a 1.6 billion plus budget is embarrassing. There's so many things that I don't understand. What may have been a perfectly good process 5 years ago doesn't mean it's the same good process today. Many things change, and oftentimes it feels that there's not a good comprehension of numbers and all those things. And that adds to the frustration. People not being able to pay attention and follow instructions and listen. People not being able to attend regularly. All of it adds to the frustration. And I just pray for better leadership in the future.
Thank you. Anybody else with comments? So Member Rollins Fernandez, are you making that motion? You made the motion? Or you're...
Oh, I did, and Member Johnson seconded.
Okay, so everybody ready for the vote?
Oh, I see Member Uwahajans.
Member Uwahajans.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks, Member Rollins Fernandez, because I'm trying to get an understanding of the options we were presented, because there was a lot of options discussed. So the current motion on the floor is to pass this reso, whatever reso it is, 2588. And if necessary, come Friday, your changes have already been posted. And then that would be in ASF to this that we're discussing today.
No, the ASF is to Bill 41.
Bill 41.
Yeah. Bill 41, which includes all the tax rates
Yes.
as well. So if any one of my tax proposals passes, then we'd have to go back to square one. Yeah?
Got it.
You like, see, if you wanted to make an amendment to something like to this today or Friday, we go back to square one, which we already anticipated, and that's why we already figured if this happens, because I'm not the only one who might want to make changes.
Sure.
I mean, any one of you can make changes.
Sure.
So that means we would start from step A and we have to have 2 hearings, 2 public meetings, and we already scheduled that for May 27th and June 3rd, if that happened. So it's covered if that happened.
Okay.
So by tabling this today, mainly means that no action will be taken. And if nothing changes on Friday,
Then we're not starting from scratch. is
we're
the
not
point.
starting from scratch. We just
Okay.
need one more, I think. And then, so, nothing earth-shattering is going to happen today, no matter what, how you
Okay.
vote. But the point is, more than likely, there's going to be changes on Friday.
Okay.
And that's the reason why I anticipate that, and I'm asking if you will table it. But if you want to vote for the motion, do whatever you folks want to do, okay?
Sure. Okay. Thank you. There was just a lot of moving parts, so I was trying to understand the motion on the floor and the potential course of action, whatever the outcome of this vote is. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, any more comments or questions? Otherwise, roll call.
Chair proceeding with roll call. Councilmember Pro Tempore Tasha Kama.
Excused.
Vice Chair Yukile Sugimura.
No.
Councilmember Tamara Paulton.
Aye.
Councilmember Gabe Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Kiani Rollins Fernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Tom Cook.
No.
Councilmember Nohelani Uuhajens.
No.
Councilmember Shane Sinanci.
Excused.
And Council Chair Alice Lee.
No.
Chair, you have 4 noes, 3 ayes. Motion fails.
Okay,
Oh, and 2 excused, I'm sorry.
so, yeah, to excuse. Members, any objections to tabling this matter?
No objections.
Okay. Seeing no objections, so ordered. So this brings us to the end of the meeting. What did you say? Oh. Members, this public meeting is now adjourned.